Alright, this is a demo of my, I forget, 70 something Telecaster Custom. The version of a Telecaster Custom that has a wide range pickup in the neck and a Telecaster bridge and bridge pickup with 4 knobs and a upper toggle. Um, this has the 1 meg pots, which I believe is how they were done traditionally. The modern reissues tend to have 500K. So I almost always swap those out, but since I built this one from scratch, then I didn't need that. The neck is a made in Mexico Fender custom neck. Normally they're 3 bolts. This one had the holes plugged and is a 4 bolt neck. The body is ash that I dyed myself with General Finishes blue, and I think it turned out pretty well. I put a custom neck plate on it, kind of inspired by Radiohead, because the song Talk Show Host is what made me kind of want to build one of these. I don't have any other. I have a bunch of kind of telly variants, deluxes and regular tellies, and I even have a semi-hollow one now, but didn't have one in this combination. Um, the one thing that was weird about this body, it was custom made by somebody off of Reverb that said it was measured off of a actual vintage body, and all the parts fit fine for the most part. The only thing that's kind of funky is the neck plate is flush with the wood of the body on the side and on the top. I'm used to there being like a slight, tiny bit of a gap between the plate and the edge of the wood, but it's flush across here and it's flush across here, which doesn't really make any difference when you're playing. It's not like you hold it where the neck plate is anyways, and it'll hold the neck on, but it's just kind of a little different than what I was expecting. The other thing that was kind of weird is these Fender tuners. The holes that you poke the string through and wrap it around. The holes are so small that I had a hard time getting the low E string to actually go into it. At first, I thought it was plugged with something, so I tried to find a really small like needle to poke around in it, and it was open. It just was so small that these are 11 gauge. The low E almost didn't want to go into it because the hole was so small. But otherwise, they seem to work really well. There's 70s style in how they look. Sealed Fender tuners. I don't know what kind of nut it is. It's whatever the neck came with stock. It does have the bullet truss rod adjustment at the end. The pick guard I found online, it's just a kind of a red tortoise one. I had to kind of get rid of some material where the neck mounts because it overlapped into the neck pocket by maybe a half of an inch. Pots are full size, toggles normal switchcraft, normal Fender. This is a reissue. This isn't one of the special magnet materials. It's not a Kunifi one. But I actually don't mind the reissues that are more humbucker like. I think they still sound good. And then it's wired like I think it's a 72 style wiring, the same as what you would get on one of these in a vintage style. Normal strap locks. I use the traditional ones that they look like a regular strap button, and you can use them like a regular strap button, but you can also use locking straps so that you don't drop your guitar on the ground, which is why all my guitars behind me, the straps are attached to them. They won't fall off. I think it takes more than 300 pounds of force to separate it, like to get the strap lock to fail. So having dropped one of my first ever bass, which I still have, it has a big crack in the output jack area that maybe I'll fix eventually, but it fell when I was playing with a band onto a concrete floor because the straps kind of popped off the strap button, and ever since that happened, I never keep regular strap buttons on any guitar, even if it's vintage. I'll put strap locks on it because I don't want to drop it on the ground. Here's how the pickup sound. I'll start with the bridge. I believe it's a 62 Telecaster bridge pickup. It's got the white wrap, coated wiring wraps around it. As an aside, I really like my quad reverb that I got from Aaron Rash. I think that's his last name. Anyway, he does like a bunch of YouTube videos about sounding like getting Nirvana sounds, and I was able to get one of his quad reverbs, and I sampled this last night when I got it all strung up and wired and made sure that everything was working with my orange overdrive, which is normally my favorite amp. and I'd have to fiddle with the tone settings, but it sounds really good through a Fender. It's shocking, right? A Fender style guitar sounds good through a Fender style amp or a vintage Fender amp. But anyway. Controls work well and are quiet. I mean, it's new. I've just wired it, but it's always good to see that those work right. The neck position. Middle position. Oh, I guess I didn't do the same thing with the neck pickup. Pseudo vibrato. And kind of like a pseudo wah, I guess, with a tone pot. So anyway, I think it turned out really well. I actually like the way it sounds better today than I did last night. I was kind of disappointed last night because it was really bright through my orange, and I usually just leave amps at a certain sound setting, and it's probably smarter to play with the tone controls. But straight through the Fender with whatever I left it at last, I like how it sounds quite a bit more. Hope you enjoyed getting to hear how it turned out.